So when you're ready, just bring your big toes together, knees as wide as the mat or somewhere towards that direction. Slide the hips back, bow your chest down, and begin in that child's pose. We'll start by breathing in through the nose and out of the mouth. Couple more. Breath in through the nose, letting your belly expand, pressing through the palms, rounding and doming the spine. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Let your chest drop down closer towards the mat. One more cleansing breath in. And that big release out. And then taking the tongue, licking the lips, seal them to one another. Begin breathing in and out of your nose with that slight constriction in the back of the throat so that you can create that oceanic breath or that humming sound as you breathe in and out. Expand through the upper back, your shoulders, and as you exhale, let yourself release either closer towards the hips without force though, or the chest closer towards the mat. If you feel like massaging the space between your eyebrows, just begin to rock your head from temple to temple. You can stay on one side as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And then you can switch it out, or you can stay there a little longer. You can continue that fluid movement back and forth. Go ahead and pause in the center when you're ready, releasing the temple of your forehead or the space between the eyebrows down on the mat. Extending through your arms, pulling the shoulders away from your ears, taking a full breath in here. Letting that breath go. Moment here to scan from your fingertips, traveling all the way down your body until you reach your toes. Scan in the opposite direction. And as you scan, make sure you're scanning front side, back side, and the sides of the body and not just along the back edge of the frame. You're observing and just noticing how you feel, what's going on with your mind, your emotions, and your physical being. You're allowing all of that just to be an observation. Perhaps today you practice with your personal affirmation. It can be different than your normal daily, maybe even your running affirmation. Perhaps this time this space is just created for yourself to release, to let go, to find fluidity and movement, not only for the body, but for your mind. Taking one more cleansing breath in. We'll exhale, sigh that breath out, letting it all go. As we draw our next breath in, press the palms into the mat, lift your hips up, and as you exhale, walk your hands towards that top right corner. You're welcome to stack that left hand on top of the right and then rotate that left rib cage towards the right side as you rest your left temple or left ear on your bicep or down on the ground. If you prefer not to stack the palms, you can slide that right hand behind you, either hand to the small of the back, towards the left hip, or even at your right ankle, whichever feels better for you. Feel that extension through your side body, releasing the shoulder away from the ear. And if you'd like to bend your left elbow and bring that left hand towards your head, you can do that as well, or you can find more stillness. Just a couple more inhales here, maybe even circles with your wrist if that's what you prefer. And finalize one more breath in, and as you exhale, drop that left palm down if it's floating, and then extend and straighten that right hand towards that top right corner. Press into your palms, lift your head up, and as you exhale, walk to center, and then take it over towards that left side. Make all those soft adjustments you did on that opposite edge. If something's not quite as comfortable, just adjust to where your body feels comfortable. Start breathing in and out of the nose. Soft rotation of the right rib cage towards that left side. Your eyes can be closed if you'd like, or you can keep them open. If you're ready to begin bending that right elbow, begin to bend that right elbow, or maybe just trace circles with your wrist as you push through that right side of your body. You've got 2 more inhales here. Finalizing that exhale on your next breath in, that palm releases and you extend and straighten that left arm towards the top. Press both right and left palm into the mat. Lift your head off the ground. Walk those hands to center and then exhale, release the frame down towards child's pose. Wiggle your hips right side to left side. Continue to sink the hips towards the heels. And as you take your next breath in, press the palms into the mat, lift your chest up, slide your hands towards your body to where you can even anchor the hips a little closer towards the heels. And then from there, lift your left hand and trace a few circles with that left wrist in one direction and in the opposite. If your knees are very narrow, you might want to take them out a little bit wider. Taking your right hand, allow your index finger to grab the thumb and gently guide it towards your body so that you can stretch that thumb out. If you spend quite a bit of time on your computer, your phone, or even have arthritis or carpal tunnel syndrome, this will help to relieve some of the tension. Won't make it go away, but it'll definitely help relieve some of that tension. Or if you have a tendency to run with your shoulders up towards your ears, which is pretty normal as we get tired, this might help to relax the wrist as well, the palm. Switch it out, take that index finger to the left index finger and just give it a nice little bend towards your body as the palm points towards the front. Your feet might be getting a little tired here, and that may be normal. It's not a normal flexion that you typically have, but just allow the weight of the body to sink back, opening up the hips a little more. Go ahead and move on to the middle finger. Some digits might be more sensitive than others. Just acknowledge it and don't hyperextend or be forceful with your body. Moving on to the ring finger on the left hand. And then finally to your little pinky finger. This little finger actually doesn't do anything for that carpal syndrome. It's more on the outside edge of your forearm. So you might feel it through that area and not necessarily through the fingers or the palm. Go ahead and release. And as you release, a couple of circles with your wrist, then point your fingertips down like you're scooping something. And with your right hand, just give your right wrist a little bit of love as you guide it towards your body. You can bring the fingertips towards the thumb, or you can bring your fingertips towards your wrist. Any kind of movement that you'd like, you can do that. And if not, just stay still. Releasing, and we'll switch it out. Keep sending the hips back. Keep wiggling your body, starting with the thumb. Give it a little stretch. Moving on to that index finger whenever you're ready. Middle finger. The ring finger. And then finalize with your pinky finger. Circles if you need it for movement. And then take that left hand to the back of your right hand. Begin to curl those fingers towards your wrist or towards the thumb, or even just thumb circles. And then we'll release. As you release, both palms release back down to the mat. Press the weight of the body towards the heels, and then inhale, slide the weight of the body forward. Bring your knees back in, lift your feet, a few circles with those ankles in each direction. Curling the toes under, you'll exhale, slide the weight of the body back. Maybe gently begin to lift the kneecaps about 2 inches or less off the mat. And then imagine that your knees, or actually physically do it, tap your knees down to the mat. If they touch, that's fine. If they don't, that's okay. Lowering the knees down to the ground, slide the weight of the body forward, press the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, dome your spine, catting it up. Inhale, curl the toes under, drop the belly towards the mat, lift the chin and chest up, pull your shoulder heads back, cow pose. Exhale, cat it back up. Inhale, take that cow pose. And one more round. Exhale, catting it up. And inhale, cow pose. On that next breath in, neutralize the spine. And as we neutralize the spine, wiggle the hips right side to left side just to take notice of what's going on with the lower portion of your frame, and maybe even say a yes or a no with your head if you'd like. Pausing back in center, we'll gently begin to curl right and left toes under, bringing our knees towards one another. As you bring those knees towards one another, keep your right toes tucked, and then inhale, extend that left leg behind you. Press the palms into the mat. Perhaps bring that right hand to your abdomen and then extend that right hand forward if you'd like, or keep that palm down if you prefer. Draw a full breath in here. And as you exhale, draw the elbow and knee in towards your body. Inhale, take it long, squeeze the left glute. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, extending and squeezing. Last time, exhale, pull it in. And then inhale, we'll reach long. Release the palm down to the mat, top of that right foot on the ground. Cross your left leg over towards that right side. Push that hip towards this left side and look over your right shoulder. Breathe in through the nose here and out of the nose. 2 more inhales if possible, relaxing the shoulders away from those ears. Soft knit of the ribs so that you can feel that length perhaps through the psoas as well as the outside edge of your hip. On your next breath in, look to the top of the mat. Keep your legs crossed. Bend that left knee behind your right. Send the blades of your feet out to the edges of the mat. And take your time as you wiggle your hips just to find that rotation from side to side, especially on your right hip. You might notice it since you're having to do a little more internal rotation than external rotation. Coming back to center, exhale, work the weight of the body back. That right knee will lift off the mat. Your heart or your chest will rest on the right thigh. Your arms can stay extended. You can slide those hands towards your body. You can even release the glutes down to the back end of the mat. And then you can hang on to the soles of your feet if you'd like, dropping your chin and tucking it towards this right knee. If that's too much, just keep the hips elevated and the forearms anchored into the mat. Find yourself releasing. If you find that any portion of the lower half of your frame is tensing up, or even your shoulders, then maybe you've gone too far. So allow yourself a little bit of grace this morning and shift forward so that releasing can occur while you're here breathing in and out versus fighting it. Our bodies are almost like sleeping babies. Don't disturb them if they're resting. 1 more inhale, and then that exhale. As you take your next breath in, if your glutes are down to the mat, lift them up, palms press into the mat. Return that right knee down to the ground. Extend that left leg behind you. Side plank as you hook your right foot to the right edge. Align that right arm, right shoulder with the wrist, and then inhale, extend your left arm up towards the ceiling. Once it reaches up towards the ceiling, press to the blade of your left toes, and then extend that left hand towards the top end of the mat. Feel that long extension through your side body, pressing the palm into the ground. Inhale, your arm lifts up towards the ceiling, then lift and float that left leg off the ground. Once you've lifted it, curl the heel in towards your glute, reach back, grab that ankle if you can, or pull the knee into your chest, slide your hand down the ankle or down the shin bone until you connect. Once you've connected here, pull your shoulders back, allow your navel to connect towards the spine, and then send the kneecap away from the body, kicking the heel into the glute, and your hand is resisting. Big inhale here. And that exhale here. Then inhale, release, arm and leg go back out. Drop the blade of that left foot down. Sweep your left hand around, rotate those hips to point forward. Go ahead and gently lift this right knee and trace a few circles in each direction. And then you'll inhale, extend the leg behind you, slide that left foot out to the left edge. You're welcome to hook the right foot closer towards the middle or towards that left as you paw your hands towards center. Begin to rock the frame back and forth, just noticing what's going on with the inner thigh. You might feel it more on one side than the other. Typically, it's the extended leg where people feel it the most, but I've been known to have people say to me, and myself experiencing, that the opposite leg also feels it. When you're ready, if you'd like, slide the hips back, bend those elbows, lowering them down to the mat. If you have extremely tight inner thighs, it may not be feasible for you today to send the hips back. So instead, Keep the hips elevated, walk your arms forward, and you're still gaining that length and that release through the inner thigh. So just find your happy place. If you're content here, stay here. If you need a little bit more, take that left hand towards that left leg and hang on to it. Any knee issues, sending the hips back might not be very comfortable, so you might want to slide the hips forward instead. 2 more inhales here. Last breath in. If you're hanging onto the leg, release, extend your arms forward. As the arms come forward, paw those hands into the mat, lift your hips up, slide this left foot just a tiny bit so that there's stability in your frame. You can curl the right toes under and then inhale, begin to lift and rise up for that gate pose. So you're on your right knee and that left leg is extended out. Draw a breath in, arms up towards the sky. Pressing through that left pinky blade, exhale, pull the heads of your elbows down. Knit your ribs, pull the shoulder blades together. Inhale, those arms reach up. Exhale, left hand to that left side. Extend the right fingertips over. If you've released the right shoulder down, spin that right shoulder open. And instead of sliding your hand further towards that left ankle, just gently bring yourself a little higher so that you can find that side body opening on the right side. 2 more inhales here. You can also bend the elbow if you'd like and rest your head in your hand if you prefer. Send the elbow head up towards the sky. Pull the shoulder blade away from the ear. Once you're through, we'll inhale, release. Both arms go back up towards the sky. And then we'll exhale, release our hands down to the mat. As our hands come down to the mat, slide this left foot in towards your body. Step it in between the right and the left hand. From that position, rock the body from the front of the mat to the back of the mat, maybe straightening through this left leg as you're releasing that hamstring. Just a soft movement. Don't go too far. Big breath in, big breath out. On your next breath in, come into that low lunge as you anchor through the sole of your left foot and the arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, pull the heads of the elbows down. Squeeze your right glute, feel the mat squeezing towards one another. So left heel pulling back, right hip pulling forward. Inhale, those arms reach up. Exhale, releasing that left hand down to the left side. And once more, side body stretch on this right side. Keep your frame nice and tall. Even as you extend, you're reaching through the crown of the head. Breath in, breath out. 1 more inhale here. And that exhale here. On our next inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Hands come down as they frame this left foot. Slide the weight of the body back, releasing your glute on that right heel. As you release your glute on that right heel, if there's any tenderness with your knee, you can also place a pillow underneath this left leg. And then you'll inhale, reach up nice and tall, and you'll exhale, fold forward. As you fold forward, the goal is not to extend and reach those toes. It's more to find that length for your hamstring. If you feel like flexing the foot, flex the foot. If you feel like pointing the toes, point them. Or if you feel like dropping the pinky side blade over towards this left side, know that you can. Whatever you're doing though, pull your shoulders away from your ears as you take this next inhale. And as you exhale, you can bow down a little closer. See if you can allow yourself some ease through any areas of the body that need it. Invite yourself to answer the following question in your mind on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being where we don't want to be, where we can't breathe, where there's too much tension that we're creating in our body. Look for a 7 where you can breathe, you can feel that length, you're reaping benefits through the breath. Where are you at? 4 being where you hope to get to, where you no longer feel it. Even 5 or 6 where it's released. If you're still at that 7 or 8, maybe you've gone too far. to just release a tiny bit. Taking 2 more inhales here, giving your body the ability and the opportunity to probably come to like a 6 or even that 5. On your time, press the palms into the mat, lift your vertebrae nice and tall. Slide your right hip towards that right side. Cross this left leg over towards this right side. Once you've crossed that leg over, the knee points up towards the sky. If you have any issues going on with this right leg, you're welcome to extend it forward and instead of curling the heel in towards the glute. As you adjust your body, knee is in line with the sternum, at least this left one, and the right one is pointing forward or it's straight. Extend and lift that right arm up as you breathe in, and 2 options. Either take the elbow, crossing it over towards this left leg and twisting open, or wrapping this right arm around this left leg, bringing it towards your chest, dropping the hip point down and hanging on to that left wrist or right wrist with your hand. Everyone has a little different variation, so you find yours. Try to square the shoulders towards this left side. If you did take your right elbow to the left thigh, you can also let that right hand grab the right toes. Two more inhales if you can here. Letting that breath go. On an inhale, counter twist. So hands release, arms reach over and twist towards that right side. As you twist towards that right side, take a big breath in. Let that breath go. On our next breath in, we'll neutralize, looking towards the top of the mat. Extend that left foot forward. Use your hands however you want to anchor them to guide yourself back into that low lunge. From that low lunge, curl your right toes, lift that right knee, step that right foot back if you need to. And then from here, just sink the hips down, feeling that hip flexor open up. If you prefer to leave the knee down, leave the knee down. Belly breath in, and that belly breath out. Looking towards the top of the mat, keep your palms down on the ground, step back into that downward facing dog or that inverted V. March or paddle your feet out, bending the right, straightening the left, back and forth. Full breath in here, and then that full breath out. On our next inhale, we'll lift the heels high, roll the vertebrae forward into a plank pose. The shoulders are a hair over the wrist, the knees release to the mat if you'd like, and pull those elbows in towards your body, pointing them back. You'll lower all the way down. As you come all the way down, if your back is tight or tender for any reason, take your legs out wider. Otherwise, keep those thighs close to one another. And then extend your hands beyond the mat. So press the palms or your fingertips into the ground, pull the elbows back, shrug the shoulders back and down, and then inhale, lift your body up. If there's anything going on with your low lumbar, you've had any injuries before, maybe just come into a Sphinx or take a round of cat-cows instead. Big belly breath in. Don't squeeze the glutes here. Instead, think of the navel towards the spine. And then exhale, release the frame back down. Inhale, lift it up when you're ready. This time, take your right shoulder, drop it to the middle of the mat, and turn your head to look towards that left side. Inhale, you'll return to center, and then you'll switch it out. Left shoulder drops down. You'll look over towards that right side. And then inhale, coming back to center. As we return to center, lower your body down towards the ground. Bring those hands back to your breastbone. Tuck those toes under. Plank on your knees to maybe a little exhale, catting it up, to a little inhale, cow pose. If you prefer roller coaster cat-cow, slide the hips back, bend those elbows, dip your heart low, lift your head up high. Exhale, dome it back. And if you just want to go into child's pose, that's perfectly fine as well. But when you're ready, whatever you've done, breathe in and breathe out, and then come back into tabletop position. Wiggle if you need to. And from that tabletop position, tuck the toes under, bring those thighs close to one another. Keeping the left toes curled under, inhale, that right leg reaches back. As that right leg reaches back, extend that left arm forward or bring that left arm to your belly to find that engagement. Draw a breath in, looking about a foot in front of your mat. And then exhale, bringing the elbow and the knee in towards your heart, looking at your kneecap or belly button. Inhale, long reach. Squeeze that right glute. Exhale, tuck it in. Inhale, long reach. Last time we bring it in. And then we'll inhale, extend. Release the palm to the mat if it's floating. Cross the foot over towards this opposite edge, pressing through your right hip. Look over that left shoulder. Full inhalation, full exhalation. Softness through the shoulders, softness through the jaw, the eyes. Two more inhales here. Finalize that last breath in, and when you're ready, gaze to the top of the mat. Keep your legs the way they are. Bend that right knee behind the left. You can work the weight of the body to the center of the mat. Send your blades out to the edges, and then we'll exhale, begin to shift the weight back, releasing our chest onto the thigh. Again, the hips can anchor down to the mat. The elbows can stay down on the ground. It's whatever feels right for you. You can tuck the chin towards the kneecap. You can even bring the hands towards the blades of the feet if that's more comfortable for you. Let yourself take several inhales here, anywhere from 3 to 5, where you can begin to release the body, allowing yourself to anchor into the mat or just letting that weight release. If you still have an inhale or two to go, remain where you are. But if you've already completed your inhales and exhales, palms press into the mat, looking towards the top of the mat. Allow yourself to guide those knees back down towards the ground. Extend the right leg behind you. Side plank as you hook the left toes out towards that left edge. Anchor through the left palm, and then inhale, right arm goes up. As that right arm goes up, right fingertips extend towards the top of the mat. Press through the blade of your little toe on that right foot, finding long extension. Breathe in and out. And then on the next inhale, your arm will float up and your leg will lift up as well. Tuck and curl the heel in towards the body, or bring that knee in towards your chest. Push the foot into the glutes. Feel your foot resisting as your hand continues to resist and push. Kneecap goes out towards this right side. If the kneecap is released down, that creates tension in your low spine. Draw the navel in. Feel the right hip flexor engage, the quad engage as well. Breath in and a breath out. You've got one more. And then you'll release, extending the leg and the arm. Blade of the foot goes down. Sweep that right hand around. Rotate or square your hips. Only when you're ready, extend and slide this right foot out towards that right edge. Press through the pinky side blade if you can. Curl that left heel towards that right side. And then walk your hands to center, rocking back and forth until you're ready to release, or until you're ready just to find stillness. Take some intentional inhales that are long, releasing that breath as well. So create equal part inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, just release. If you release and you're content, stay there. If you'd like that arm extension towards that right leg, you can go there. If you prefer to keep your hips elevated, keep them up. Last two inhales here. Palms down to the mat, lift the hips up. As you lift the hips up, take your time as you begin to slide your foot inward just a tiny bit, walking those hands towards your kneecap. Finding that stability, you'll inhale, rise all the way up for that gate pose. As you rise up for that gate pose, draw a breath in. Shoulders away from the ears, belly is firm. Exhale, elbow heads pull down. Inhale, arms reach up. Right hand to that right leg, left fingertips follow towards that right side. Keep the heart squared towards the front. Try not to dip the left shoulder down towards the middle. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out of your nose. One more inhale here. Inhale, arms reach back up. Exhale, hands release down towards the mat. As the hands release down towards the mat, begin to walk or slide this right foot in between your right and your left thumb. And as you bring it in between the right and the left thumb, you might want to adjust that back left knee. And then you can begin to rock back and forth. As you rock back and forth, gain just a little bit of mobility. Maybe that hamstring needs a little more attention on this side. When you're ready, pause, looking forward. Allow yourself to let the top of the foot rest on the mat. Slide the weight of the body back. I'm sorry, don't slide the weight of the body back yet. Inhale, circle sweep those arms up towards the sky. My apologies. Low lunge. Find your balance, relax those shoulders. Exhale, pull the heads of the elbows down. Inhale, lift the arms up, squeeze the mat. Right hand to that right side, left fingertips follow. Keep that right knee in line with that right femur instead of letting the knee fall out towards that right side. Breath in, breath out. One more inhale, squeeze that left glute. Inhale, we'll come back to center. And now exhale, we can release our hands to frame that front foot. Now taking that half split, begin to slide the weight of the body back, resting your glute on that left heel. Take the pillow if you need it or any other item that might have supported your body on the opposite side. Reach up through the spine, lift those arms up, and then exhale, fold when you're ready. Imagine your back is a board versus a mountain or a hill. And so you want to gently pull the shoulders away from the ears and think of more of a flat back than a rounded spine. And that may force you to lift your body up a little higher versus releasing the chin down towards the shin bone or even that kneecap. Belly breath in and that belly breath out. This is where you're visiting the release on that scale from 1 to 10. So try to take a few more inhales here and exhales, allowing your body to let go. As you feel that release, that feeling of a little more length, or perhaps the breath can grow longer, you'll begin to rise up. And as we begin to rise up, we'll press the fingertips into the ground, releasing our left hip towards that left side, crossing this right leg over towards that left side. Again, make those adjustments if you need it. Let that right knee stay in front or in line with that sternum. And whether you wrap the left arm around this leg or you extend the arm up, your choice, but exhale how you see fit. Two more inhales here. Reach through the crown, let the shoulders relax. Ring out through the middle of the body. And counter twist it, taking that breath in to release, and then exhale, twisting your body, looking towards that left side. Only when you're ready, inhale, coming back to center, extending that right foot forward, tenting your fingers into the ground, lifting those hips up, As we lift the hips up, curl the back toes, lift that back knee, maybe slide that left foot back so that you can release the hips down. Feel that lean through your left hip flexor, drawing your breath in and out. Only when you're ready, press your palms into the ground, step back into that inverted V or that downward facing dog. March and paddle your feet out one at a time. Observe and notice what's going on, mind, body, and perhaps your spirit. Then when you're ready, inhale, lift the heels, roll the vertebrae forward, coming into that plank, on or off your knees. You'll exhale, hug the elbows into the body, lower your chest and frame all the way down. Inhale, slide your hands forward for Sphinx pose, or maybe even a variation of Sphinx pose known as seal, where the arms are extended towards the front or out towards the sides as you lift the chest up. The hips are grounded, the knees, the thighs touch the mat. A breath in and a breath out. On your next exhale, your elbows or your hands slide out. You release your chest back down towards the ground. We'll bend our knees, windshield wipering those legs right side to left side. As you take your next breath in, go ahead and curl that right heel in towards your body. Take that right hand, reach behind you. Hold on to it. As you hold on to it, either tuck the left toes or press the top of that left foot into the mat, but you'll inhale, lift your chest up, and then maybe lift that right thigh off the mat. If you'd like to extend and reach back with the right and the left hand, you're welcome to. This opens up the chest. You can gaze directly in front of you or maybe about a foot in front of your mat. One more inhale here. When you're ready to release, relax, release. Don't slingshot the leg, but definitely let it go. Hands rest to your sides. Bend the knees if you'd like, windshield wiper, and then we'll switch it out to the opposite side. So when you're ready, curl that left heel in. Maybe just start with that left hand first. See what that feels like. If it feels fine, stay there. If you need a little bit more, lift the chest, lift the thigh off the mat. And then if you need a little bit more, maybe you leave the thigh down, but you take that right hand and then lift your chest up. If the thigh is still down and it's comfortable for you, stay there. Otherwise, lift the thigh up, lift your chest up, press through that right foot. Breath in and that breath out. You can even hang on to your pant leg if you aren't able to grab onto the foot. That's not an issue. When you're ready, release, letting everything go. Legs extend long, arms come to your sides. Bend and windshield wiper once more. Taking our next breath in, those legs extend nice and long. Palms to our breastbone, elbows pull in. Plank pose on those knees and then swish the hips or maybe a round or two of cat-cow. Whatever you need for yourself. We are going to go into pigeon pose today from downward facing dog, but if you prefer it on your back figure 4 position, then go ahead and come onto your back. Otherwise, curl those toes under, lift your knees up, tilt your hips back. Take a breath in, let that breath go. On our next inhale, the right leg goes up. As that right leg goes up, maybe you want to bend the knee and stack the hip or trace a few circles. And then when you decide it's time, extend back into that 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, right knee is going to rest behind the right wrist and you'll slide that right foot to the left wrist. Drop your left knee down, walk your left toes back. Now this right leg can be parallel to the front of your mat, but if it's not, no issues. The issue here that you do want to be looking at is, do you have that right foot flexed? So flex your right toes. And then breathe in, looking forward. And exhale, bow your chest down. If it's too much for you, come onto your back instead. Take that figure 4. Thread that needle and guide the knee in towards your chest. If you have one hip really elevated, take a blanket, wedge it so that it's actually supporting you versus you fighting against it. It's normal to be fidgety in this particular position. And if that's the case, see if you can take 3 big inhales and exhales and just find that stillness for a moment. If any part of your glute is getting tighter versus releasing, or the hip, then allow yourself to back off. The intention is to release versus to constrict. Finalizing that last inhale and exhale. Palms come down to the mat. Anchor the frame, curl the left toes, walk that left knee forward. And you can either come into tabletop position and then release this right hip, or you can slide back into downward facing dog and then release the hip, your choice. Once you're ready, return back either into tabletop or that downward facing dog. That left leg goes up. If you bent the knee on the other side and stack the hips, take that variation, trace circles if you'd like. Extend back for three-legged dog, and then exhale, repeat on the opposite side. Knee and ankle come towards the top of the mat. Walk that right knee back. Find that tall or prideful pigeon. And then you'll exhale, begin to lower yourself down. It typically takes a few inhales and exhales to really surrender completely. So take it in phases versus forcing your body down. Relax the features of the face, the jaw. Taking 3 to 5 more inhales here, surrendering, letting everything get heavier and heavier or melt closer towards the mat. Finalizing your last breath in and your last breath out, palms to the mat, curling the back toes, walking that right knee forward, tabletop position or that downward facing dog, your choice. Extend that left leg behind you, rotations with your hip in each direction, and the knee comes back down. So if you're in downward facing dog, come back into tabletop. Wiggle the hips right side to left side, and then we'll all allow ourselves to come onto our glutes and onto our back. As you come onto your back, bring those knees in towards your body, or leave your feet down on the mat. Windshield wiper or trace circles, whatever it is that you need, whatever you're craving, or a combo of all of them. And we'll supine twist, tucking the knees in towards the body. Cactus or tee your arms out to the right and to the left side. Exhale, release the knees to the right side. As you release the knees to the right side, you can take this left arm towards that right side and then trace a big halo over your head until you're able to open the chest up, releasing that left shoulder down on the ground. Right hand can rest on that left thigh. Of course, if this is too much for you, don't look to the left side. You can look to the right, or the knees can be greater than a 90-degree angle for more protection of your back. We'll inhale, come back to center, and we'll exhale, switch it out. Last breath in, and that breath out. Inhale, come back to center. Bring those knees in towards your body. If you need a little happy baby, you can take that happy baby extension, or if you're ready to surrender and finalize that last pose for a few moments in Shavasana, you can definitely go there. So on your breath, your time. Legs to the corners of the mat, arms to your sides. If your back is tender, keep your knees bent instead. 3 inhales and 3 exhales here, just letting your body temporarily rest, or even letting your hands rest on your abdomen. If you desire a little more time here in this final resting pose, you're more than welcome to stay here. But if you're ready to rise up, roll over to your right side and then guide yourself into a seated position. As we work our way into that seated position, just let your eyes stay closed, let your arms rest to your sides or on those thighs. Take a full belly breath in, and you'll exhale, sigh it out. Bringing our hands together in prayer and at our heart space, I thank you for being here and sharing a part of your day, your love, and your light with me and with each other. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. All right. Thanks for joining in person. You guys have a good one. Hi, Tina. We'll see you, Carolyn.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Any questions?
No, I'm good. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
We'll see you soon. All right. Bye.